Shinu, Fachchegan Lesson Show. Hey there, welcome to this lesson. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the Highlands and Islands of Scotland. Although islands, what we're going to talk about with islands can be applied to any islands at all. Okay, gleba. So when talking about the Highlands and Islands in Gaelic, there's a little trick to them, and I'm going to show you that trick just now. This will make your Gaelic more accurate, closer to that of a native speaker, and also help you express yourself more clearly. Okay, here we go. So, we have our two words here. Let's sort them out first. A Gaeltoch. A Gaeltoch. A Gaeltoch. So that's the Highlands. What's interesting is that in English, it's the Highlands, right? The higher lands in the country. In Gaelic, though, a Gaeltoch means like the Gaelic area, the Gaelic speaking area, the Gaelic zone, you could say. A Gaeltoch. This word appears in Ireland as well. It's a very Gaelic word. And in Ireland, it's used to distinguish a community where day-to-day life is in Gaelic. Yeah. And in Scotland, a Gaeltoch tends to mean the Highlands. Gaelic zone, the Gaelic speaking region. Alrighty, so a Gaeltoch. There's a bit of a K sound at the end. I'm making it, emphasizing it, making it a bit stronger now so you can hear. You wouldn't be saying a Gaeltoch, you know, spitting at a native speaker or anyone else. But it is kind of a subtle sound until your ear turns to it, until it tunes to it. A Gaeltoch. A Gaeltoch. A Gaeltoch. A Gaeltoch. A Gaeltoch. Kind of flows. To me, it sounds like the hills and the mountains. Yeah, it sounds like the Highlands. A Gaeltoch. Yeah. And here we have Highlands. Highlands, the islands. And usually this means the Western Isles in Scotland, but this can be applied to any islands at all. Although a Gaeltoch means just the Highlands of Scotland. Okay, so if we're talking about living in or traveling in or, you know, being in these places, there's a little trick to it. And there's a different trick for each of these, for a Gaeltoch and for Highlands. So let's put these into wider context here. Let's put them into larger chunks of language so we can see the relationships. So let's see. If you live in the Highlands, ha mi a furach. I am living, I live, I stay, however you want to phrase it. Ha mi a furach. Ha mi a furach. We're going to say in the Highlands. In English, we'd say in the Highlands, but in Gaelic, we don't actually say in. We say on. Ed. Ha mi a furach ed Gaeltoch. I live on the Highlands. And as I understand it, the psychology behind this is that you stand on the land. You stand on the ground. So you're on the Highlands. To say in the Highlands, people will understand you. I mean, there's no question that it's understood. But it's the Gaelic way of talking about being in the Highlands to use ed, to say on. Ed. Ha mi a furach ed a Gaeltoch. Yeah, just like that. And you can use this for many, many different verbs. So for example, I'm traveling in the Highlands. Ha mi a shul. Ha mi a shul. Ed a Gaeltoch. Ha mi a shul ed a Gaeltoch. Ha mi a furach ed a Gaeltoch. Yeah. Ha mi e giari a vi. I want to be in the Highlands. Mi e giari a vi I want to be in the Highlands. Ha mi egiari avi a Gaeltach. Just like that. We use that This is your trick for talking about being in the Highlands. Gaelic, we say on the Highlands. And this is true of other things too. For example, talking about mountains. It's traditional, as I learned it, to say na bjornten. Because you're standing on the mountains, aren't you? Yeah. I learned that in Nova Scotia. Na bjornten. Vein, on the mountain. Na bjornten. On the mountains. Yeah. So this comes up in other circumstances as well. But right now we're just really focusing on the Highlands. A Gaeltach. On the Highlands. Ha mi a fyrach a Gaeltach. Ha mi a giari a vi a Gaeltach. And just to make sure things are totally clear. Want to be, I live, traveling. So you could say, I want to travel in the Highlands. Ha mi a giari a vi a shual a Gaeltach. The possibilities are endless, really. Yeah. You say, my heart is in the Highlands. Well, ha muchri, right? Ha muchri a Gaeltach. My heart is on the Highlands. Gleva. Nice. So this is the Highlands. We use That's our little trick. And it's very Gaelic, very, very Gaelic to do that. Okay. So what about the islands? Talk about the Western Isles or any other kind of islands. So let's do the same thing. I live in the islands. Ha mi a fyrach. Or in some dialects, ha mi a fental. Like on Isla, right? Ha mi a fental. Let's put that here. Got to represent that. Argyle. Represent Argyle. Ha mi a fental, ha mi a fyrach. All right. We're going to say on the islands. I live on the islands. In English, you'd say, yeah, I live on the islands. Or in the islands, I suppose. Gaelic, we're going to say in. In. Ha mi a fyrach ounce. Highlands. I live in the, right? In the islands. So in Gaelic, you're on the Highlands, but you're in islands. Shin Marahai. Yeah, that's how it is, you know. Shin Marahai. Shin Marahai. Ha mi a fyrach no fental ounce na Highlands. I live in the islands. Ha mi a shual ounce na Highlands. Just like that. Yeah. Ha mi a giari a vi ounce na Highlands. Ooh, let's bring that over here. Yeah. Ha mi a shual ounce na Highlands. So you're in islands, but you're on the Highlands. In the traditional Gaelic mindset here. What if you're just on an island? You know, it's not the collective islands, but just one. This is still true. This is still true. So let's see. Elan. Yep. An island. It's just an island. An island. I live on an island. In English, you'd say on, right? Remember, in Gaelic, we don't. We say in. Ha mi a fyrach an elan. Ha mi a fental an elan. Yeah. So in the islands, in an island. And this can be a more specific island too. Ha mi a fyrach an elan Lewis, for example. Yeah, the Isle of Lewis. Ha mi a fyrach ounce an elan Skianach. I live in the Isle of Skye. Yeah, let's put that in here. Ounce an elan Skianach. In the Isle of Skye. Clever. And let's put Elan Lewish here. Elan Lewish. Isle of Lewis. Ha mi a fyrach an Elan Lewish. Ha mi a fyrach an Elan Skianach. Or just more generally, ha mi a fyrach na Helanan. And we can plug in all of these other verbs like traveling. Ha mi a shual an Elan Skianach. Ha mi a shual an Elan Lewish. Ha mi a gieri a vi an Elan Skianach. Ha mi a gieri a vi an Elan Lewish. Or maybe if you just live on an island somewhere, like one of the islands in Maine, which are quite lovely, and just, I'm tired of everything on shore, on land. I want to be on the island again. Ha mi a gieri a vi an Elan. On the island. Yep. We'll make a connection here too. Yeah. So we have lots of different options here. And this very small aspect of word choice, using in islands, on the Highlands, is noticeable. Is noticeable to native speakers and fluent speakers too. Yeah, it'll make your Gaelic more accurate, closer to that of a native speaker. And you'll be keeping alive little bits of this traditional Gaelic mindset, which is so important, I think. We need to keep it alive, keep it healthy and thriving, so that Gaelic has this richness, right? This biarstus. Yeah, we want Gaelic to remain rich, poetic, yeah, kind of mysterious. And by learning this little distinction here, by training yourself, sharpening your Gaelic a bit to say on the Highlands, in an island, you're helping do that. Even if you're not Scottish, even if you're not a Gael, you're still helping keep this alive for the world. And that's well worth it. So really, I appreciate all your efforts. You're doing great. All right, Gleva. See you in another video.